Disclaimer, don't try this at home, and always wear your helmet and safety gear. Good morning there, DBF family. A couple months ago, Luke from Fathead Racing reached out to me, and he saw the work we did on Jed's KX 500 aluminum frame build, and he loved it. Well, come to find out, he had all the stuff to do it, and he did not have the time or the resources to get it done because he is so busy building high-quality dirt bike parts. But that being said, he reached out to me, wanted to know if I would be willing to do the frame conversion on his KX 500 AF build. And after a little bit of talking me into it, I guess so to speak, he talked me into it, and it's here. So let me show you what we got and what we got to work with. When Jed and I built his KX 500 aluminum frame, we built all the components ourselves. Luke went another route, and he went with the TSR kit out of Australia, I believe they're out of, and it's a phenomenal kit. I've never installed one. This is the first time I've physically seen one. We tried to get one when we did Jed's, but at the time they were not manufacturing them, so we opted to build them ourselves. Now it's interesting to look at their kit versus what we did. Their components are very similar, and it's very similar how we did his bike versus how we're going to do Luke's bike. So I found that somewhat interesting and made me feel good that maybe we're on the right track at how we're doing things here in the DBF garage. So one thing about it, we're kind of practiced up on these KXs because Jed used the TSR cases, at least the outer cases, on his build, just like Luke is using on this build. And we know of a few small little issues we have to remedy before we move on to the actual frame modifications. And let me show you what those ones are. So if you look right here with these new billet cases, they're a little bit thicker, and they actually interfere with the front of the swing arm right here, just a little bit. So it will not allow the swing arm bolt to come all the way through and hold the engine in square. And it's just like that on both sides. So what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to pull the motor back out because it's obviously just sitting in there. Motor mounts do not line up anywhere. And grind down the face of the swing arm just a little bit to get enough clearance to where when the swing arm moves up and down, it does not interfere with these beautiful billet cases. As expected, had to do just a little bit of grinding on the swing arm and just a touch on the right hand side case just to keep it from rubbing. There's plenty of meat on the swing arms to take some off because this cast swing arm's super thick and it's not a problem. Let me show you what I've kind of done. Perfect. I got the swing arm bolt through the frame and through the lower block, and moves free as can be. That's the way we like it. So, okay, so the next step, now that the motor's in it and we have it left to right correctly with the spacing and the swing arm, We've got to make some clearance for the new exhaust. Where this was a 450 frame 4-stroke originally, we need to make clearance for the new Y piece that goes in here. So I've already gone ahead and kind of made a rough estimate of where I need to cut the upper, and we need to remove the lowers out of the factory weld right here because we've got new lowers and a new billet Y piece to go in it. I'm guessing by the time we're done on this, it's going to be cut about right here where the original factory radiator mount was, but I'm going to play it safe and cut it right here for now. Once we get that done, we'll mount the upper head stay so we know where the motor wants to ride this way, and then we'll start assembling the lower half with engine mounts and radiator. That's a satisfying sound. Let loose. Can't untake that picture now. No longer a 450 frame. Love it. If only they went back together as fast as they came apart. So there you can see the upper motor mount, or referred to as the head stay bracket, is all mocked up, tightened up, and tight against the frame and ready to be welded in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up my TIG welder, and I'm going to TIG weld and just kind of tack weld that bracket into place. And after that, we'll move on to the lower cradles and the Y, and pretty much the main portion of this frame will be converted from a 450 4-stroke to a 500cc 2-stroke. Well, good morning. Another beautiful Sunday morning here in the garage, and I got thinking about it. A lot of you people may not know who Fathead is, Fathead Racing. So I guess the best way to describe or show you who he is Jed and I, the other day, we took his KX 250 and we installed one of Luke's custom built Fathead cylinder heads on his 250 dirt bike. So I'm gonna drop that clip right now while I work on this thing, and hope you guys enjoy it. How many motorcycles can you fit in a trailer?
Probably a few more if we got ambitious.
Yes. So that's the one we're after today, the middle one. There's this KX 500, there's his 450 and 250, and all of his kids' stuff. Well, not all of them, but a few of his kids' toys. We'll get these things unloaded real quick. So everybody's saying that these bikes that we build are garage queens. Let me show you this garage queen. Yeah, look how dirty this thing is. Tell me again how this bike is a garage queen. We don't build garage queens. They can be pretty and usable. Yes, she was definitely rode hard and put away wet last go around, that's for sure. All right, Jed, tell us what we got going on here. What is this bike?
What I thought was reasonably priced KX 250. It's an 05, getting kind of rare and hard to find. So yeah, I feel like I got a pretty good deal. I overpaid for it.
I don't think so. It's pretty clean.
Yeah, it was pretty clean. So the only thing I've done is I did exhaust, and then I ordered this Fathead for it. Just haven't really had time to put it on yet, but this is what Luke at Fathead Racing does. These machined out cylinder heads, and the cool part about them is you can take and interchange these domes to raise or lower your compression. So this one is the middle level. I think it runs 91 or above, but you have to run at least 91. We'll slap this thing on and see how much difference she runs.
So what else have you run this on?
So we put one on the KX 500 aluminum frame that we built.
On his KX 500, his actually has on the side of it right here, it has a decompression valve on it, kind of like the chainsaws have and stuff like that. So you can push the button in, so when you kick it, it's not so brutal to kick over, and it lowers the compression just enough to make it start. They're a pretty cool head. They're awesome. I'm gonna have him send me one for probably my CR250. The heads on my 500s are already done.
There's a little guy from my kid's 65.
Yeah, and I mean they go clear down to the KX 65s. I mean, look at that cute little bugger. All the way from CR 500s, KX 500s to, you know, KX 65s, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't sell them for like the KTM 50s.
I think that he does.
Yeah, I mean,
I think anything two-stroke he does.
yeah.
I think mostly anything modern. I haven't looked to see older stuff. But.
Right. Go check him out. It's Luke at Fathead Racing, right there. I'll put this down right here somewhere so you can see it again. We're gonna go ahead and get this bike tore down, get the head pulled off of it, get the antifreeze drained out of it, and throw it on and see how she runs. I think it'll run pretty good. Hammer. Extensions suck.
Let's get rid of it.
Let's do. Oh yeah. How do you feel about the inside of that motor?
That thing looks good. Almost like you're saying, I think that's a new jug.
I think it is. I think it's hard to tell. Let me get on the other side here of the flashlight, but it's got really good crosshatch markings down inside the jug still. It's
Might look bad now. I just spread it real quick.
yeah, it's hard to tell, but inside of this jug looks really healthy. It's definitely, it either doesn't have much time on it or it's recently been replated and machined out. So we're gonna go ahead, slap the head back on this thing and let her eat. But here's the old one. It was burning pretty good. I don't think it's got a ton of time on it, but as far as the burn ring on it, it looks pretty dang decent. Can't beat that. So before we get on that, I got one question for you guys. Who else has a dog that's a little bit, probably not all right in the head? Check this out. It's gonna be well over 100 degrees here today, and she's just out here just soaking up some sun. She's not quite wired right. She'll do that when it's 100 degrees out there. Crazy animal. Don't scratch it.
What scratches on machine surfaces?
Nothing. Hey! Like it was made for it.
What's your spew on anti-seize on stainless fasteners?
Jed asked me what my thought was on anti-seize on stainless fasteners on regular conventional bolts or aluminum. It's a must, because the stainless steel is harder than the mild steel, and once you go and stretch the nut and the bolt to a torque specs, when you go to pull it off, it seems to me, in my experience, it will actually gall the threads and seize them up. So we'll put just a drop of anti-seize on the studs itself because the nuts are stainless, and then we'll go ahead and torque them down. What's your torque specs there, Jed?
18 foot-pounds. And if it doesn't wheelie in fifth gear, 25.
If it what?
Doesn't wheelie in fifth gear, 25 foot-pounds?
Squash her down just a little bit extra?
Yeah.
Is that like a redneck way of milling the head?
Yeah, squish it.
I like.
Rub it on the concrete.
There you go. I thought you were supposed to rub it on top of the center block.
There you go. Are cinder blocks made of cinders?
I don't know. I think so. If they're not, they should.
See if she starts up after 3 months.
I bet she will. 3 months and a new head. Hey! Your sounds good. Well, he's shaking his head yes, so that must be a good sign. Sure sounds good. Just like I figured. Fathead Racing. Pretty quality stuff, really. It's amazing I get along with my neighbors as well as I do. Disclaimer, don't try this at home. And always wear your helmet and safety gear.
Pulls harder on the bottom end.
It what?
Pulls harder on the bottom end.
Does it? Your sounds good.
Take a respect.
No, I'm good. I just told these guys, disclaimer, wear your safety gear and your helmets.
Don't do what we do.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's move on to the next one, huh?
Next project.
Cool. Thing looks awesome. Okay, so Jed's over here just scrubbing his little life away. We're cleaning up and deglazing where the welds are going to be. So hitting it with a stainless steel brush, wiping it down with some acetone, and that way we get the cleanest welds that we can possibly get. So actually not going to fully weld this chassis for him. I'm going to tack weld it all together, because he still has exhaust to put on it once he gets the bike back to him. It's a custom built exhaust. So just on the side of caution, I'm just gonna tack weld this all together just in case he has to move a frame rail, you know, an 1/8 inch this way or a 1/4 inch this way or whatever. He's not cutting apart the entire chassis and a fully welded chassis just to move it that far. He'll have one of his guys out there that's a confident welder do the finish welding on it once it's 100% mocked up. Scrubby, scrubby.
Meth head toothbrush.
Meth head toothbrush. Yikes.
That's why they miss all their teeth.
I don't think that's why.
Oh.
Maybe. Tackarooski. You tackarooski, Jed.
The good old sound of aluminum weld.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got too much clamps everywhere. It's like trying to. How do I get in there?
Just like that.
Like so?
Chinese puzzle.
Yes, sir. Hotski Totski. Shoo-wee. All right. Next one. Butamus. It'll work. Just attack it. He chopped my head off.
I don't think so. Like this? What do you think, Kevin?
That's. My eyes are up here, Chad. Stop it.
Maybe for a question for the viewers.
Yes.
Keep holding the TIG torch over the weld after you're done.
Why do I do that? Because it keeps from letting air get to it, so that helps shield the weld while it's cooling, and it keeps it from getting contaminants in it and cracking, basically. The other thing of it is it helps keep the tungsten right there from getting contaminated. If you pull that thing out and pull it away to ambient air, that tungsten right there is going to go black and nasty and get all crystallized, and then you're starting over. All right, so we got her all tacked into place. Components they're where they're going to be, hopefully for the last time. But last thing we got left to do is mount the lower radiator mount, the new one that comes in the kit, on the left-hand side, like so. And we've got it pretty much figured out where we want it to go. So we're going to take a transfer punch, go through it, mark it, and then lay it back over and weld it in place. That factory weld right there is so nasty. There's so much garbage in that. That's the difference between TIG welding and machine welding. Is a wire machine welder just burns through all the contaminants but traps it. That's why that just is farting and popping and going nuts. But it'll stick. It's got a lot. It's cute, he says. Here. The dishes are done, man.
Dishes are done.
Good hold. If it don't, we'll say it should have. I feel pretty good about it.
How good?
It's done. As far as we're gonna do with it, it's done. This thing can be boxed up and shipped off to Luke, and he can finish it. We've done what we're supposed to do to it, so I feel good about that. How do you feel about it?
Feels good.
Yes, sir. Well, we got this thing all wrapped up, me and old Jetty, and it turned out dang good. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty impressed with this kit. It's a pretty nice kit, really. What's your thoughts on this kit, Jed?
It's nice. It's quality. I would definitely buy one if I was gonna build another one. I shouldn't say if, when.
Yeah, I was gonna say when for sure. They make a quality kit. I think this is gonna be a really fun bike for Luke. If you guys haven't, go over and check out his products. He makes excellent products. His cylinder heads are, in my opinion, they're far superior than any of his competition. So like I said before, if you guys are in the two-stroke world and you want bolt-on performance, go check out Fathead. See right there on my shirt, Fatheads, and yeah, PH Fat. Go get you a cylinder head for your bike, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You're gonna see more of his products on our bikes to come. We've gone as far as we're gonna do on this project. This week, I'm gonna box it up and get it shipped out to him, and he's gonna take it from here and get this thing built up. So go ahead, follow him on Instagram, follow him on YouTube. As always, thanks for watching, and thanks for all your support.